piano, and it's so cool. And his name is Chopsticks. So in addition to talking, he can play simple songs like that, but also like really complicated songs. So today, not only will we talk about the science behind making a piano speak human, but later, he's gonna play the drums for us and sing for us. Not yet, Chopsticks. Remember, for my videos, that song usually comes a little bit later. Anyways, then he's gonna attempt to play the world's most complicated digital piano song from sheet music boss, RHEI. There's a reason this song has never been played with an actual real-life piano, so I've legitimately got a couple fire extinguishers on hand in case the whole thing goes up in flames. But before we get to any of that, we need to first understand the really cool engineering behind how pianos even work. Because if you look at the guts of this modified see-through piano, for something that was invented by an Italian dude 300 years ago, you can see it's pretty complicated. In fact, if you zoom in and just isolate on a single key, this is what's happening every time you push down on the white part. Now, if you're thinking like an engineer, you know the best design is always the one that gets the job done in the most simple way possible. And when I first saw this, no offense to Bartolome Cristofori, the inventor of the piano, it just seemed overly complicated. I mean, the first piano I ever played was pretty dang simple. Like, why can't you just have a class 1 lever where when I push down here, there's a fulcrum in the middle and it hits the string here? Well, it turns out there's two problems with that right off the bat. The first is that the hammer remains in contact with the string when you hold the key down. That means the string isn't free to wiggle and vibrate, which is how the sound is created. Like with this guitar, it sounds great until you touch the strings. And now because it can't vibrate, you don't hear anything. In fact, you can see that's exactly the problem with this toy piano. The second problem is this is an upright piano, so the strings must be vertical to fit. But that's an easy enough fix if we shift them here and add an extra hinge point. However, you'll notice we're still damping the string. And as you can see, the piano should continue making sound even if I'm holding the key down. So how do we do that? Well, Bartolomeo got real clever and added a little extra hardware here, so now when you press the key, this jack flings the hammer forward so it hits the string, but then the jack gets its foot caught, which moves it out of the way so the hammer can move back and not dampen the string. Fun fact, most people think pianos are considered string instruments, but this hammer-like action is why they're actually classified as percussion. Okay, so now if I press the key down, it will continue to make noise. But wait, if I let my finger go, the sound should stop. So something is damping that string. But if you look at our current build, you can see if I let the key go, there's nothing to stop the string from just continuing to vibrate and make sound. To solve this, Bartolomeo added an extra pivot point and some more hardware. So now you see this damper rests on the string and keeps it quiet until you press the key down. Then the hammer strikes, then it's free to vibrate and create noise all the way up to the moment the key is released. And finally, if I want to play a note really quickly and repeatedly like this, I need the hammer to be close to the string and not way back here like this. So by adding this backstop, it keeps the hammer close after each hit in case I need to quickly hit it again. So there you have it. Apologies to my fellow engineer Bartolomeo. It turns out it's only as complicated as it needs to be and no more. It's also sort of simplistically beautiful that all that functionality is from only one input every time you press a single key. Now Chopsticks here is a special case, not only because he's see-through, but because he can play himself. And it is true, pianos that play themselves have been around for over 100 years, but there's an important difference here. An old player piano works by scrolling through a paper sheet like this, and when it encounters a hole, it passes air through, which plays the key. So all the keys are played at full force, and the timing isn't very precise. Whereas Chopsticks here is a modern version that uses a solenoid to actuate the key. We place the solenoids right here, so when the rod extends, it's no different than someone actually pressing the key. You can see them all lined up along here. But with solenoids, not only do you get your timing down to fractions of a second, but you have 127 different levels